The fact is the doctor and engineer will be totally out of place. Given the 100 years of innovation in their respective fields, both in terms of research and practice. However, a professor will certainly feel at home in a classroom since the chalk piece, the blackboard, the classroom ambience haven't changed. It's the same thing in the last 100 years. I won't go over the elaborate, but I'll just give you an idea of benchmarking from the corporate world. I did meet with some of the representatives from KCP Sugars in Andhra Pradesh. It's a sugar factory. They have 2 branches. And in fact, when their representatives were reviewing the performance of these 2 branches, they did realize all the metrics were very similar. The same number of staff, they were serving the same type of audience, they were having the same productivity rates, everything was very similar. But then the tragedy was, when they looked at the performance of it at the end of the day, the revenues, or how much these things generate, one of the branches made more than the other, despite everything, all the metrics being the same. So the question came, why was this the case? And this was Mr. Subbareddy, who was actually the manager of this organization. He was puzzled. And when the benchmarking effect was recast to include indicators of the value-added benefits of long-term employees, one of these companies was started 20 years ago, one of the branches, the other branch was started 3 years ago. All the metrics the same. Then they realized the 20-year-old employees were getting paid higher, so the cost of this unit was greater compared to the unit which was started recently. So the lesson Subbareddy takes from this incident in the benchmarking, everything looks similar, but there are subtle differences here, please. Numbers in a vacuum are dangerous. Or another way to look at it, in benchmarking, which is good practices, context is king. So the Indian context is very, very different from context outside. That's what I wanted to emphasize. Now the issues facing India's higher education here, student retention. India is losing students to USA, Australia, UK. In fact, Indian parents are subsidizing education in those countries to the tune of $8 billion, which could have been otherwise spent here. They're subsidizing their education. Improving achievement levels of students, preparing them to compete globally. In fact, hardly 2 or 3 institutions in India currently have the international accreditations for management or engineering, the premier institutions, like AACSB and EET. Very low infrastructure and high competitiveness. Okay, about 2 weeks ago, I did read in a newspaper the cutoff point in Delhi University for an accounting course, undergraduate BCom, was 98.75. Okay, so that may basically indicate the guy who got 98.5 doesn't fit in. So, 476 universities serving 113 crore Indians, in contrast to over 9,000 campuses in the US and Canada serving hardly 1/5 of this population. Only 11% of our population have higher education at this point. 40% of them approximately via distance learning. It is expected that approximately 50% of our population, where we have a very young population, 50% of them would be going in for higher education by 2030. So it's a huge challenge. How are we going to meet 50% of our population going for higher education? So the 21st century learning. We believe the most important function of an educational institution is to prepare students for the 21st century, to equip them with a whole set of cognitive and effective social skills that now are the heart of the emerging global knowledge-based workplace. We believe that fluency in technology is central. It's not the only thing which. To having those skills, we believe that the most effective use of technology in higher education must center around engagement or collaboration across distances and continuous or lifetime learning. We believe technology is a kind of an amplifier that lets you learn the content faster and lets you master the skills more deeply. Because if a student does not come out of school caring deeply about learning and knowing and able to collaborate with others, in doing that, they are not going to be well prepared, no matter what facts and skills they have memorized. They center around reflective skills, like learning how to learn, being able to prioritize and filter information, are the things that the 21st century demands. Now, coming to the teaching side, the professional development side, our teachers are excellent, with exceptions. A teacher in the higher education institution should be trained or retrained on the 21st century pedagogical tools and techniques. Because today a kid is born with a laptop, a cell phone, or a TV. If the teacher does not utilize some of these tools, they are not communicating well. The learning process to the kid is now today different from what it was 100 years ago. The basic desktop applications are essential. The teachers need to be trained on this. And the evaluation part is totally missing from most of the universities. We evaluate or assess the kids through exams. Nobody evaluates the teachers. In fact, the teachers or the faculty have to be evaluated on not only just teaching, on the scholarship and research as well as on service. Now, some of the best practices I could think of is we need to create a very safe social learning environment, especially using technology. A number of social networking sites such as MySpace, Facebook, you must have all participated in all of these. Educators are tapping into this phenomena and using these tools and others to develop a social learning network. Okay, like someone mentioned Moodle, right? So obviously this is. However, there is a strong push to ensure that students are interacting in a safe and a secure manner while learning online. Higher education institutions are committed to providing the latest social learning tools to students and educators that promote collaboration while preserving the ability to safely monitor all activity as appropriate. Because it's very, very important that respect as well as collaboration keep continuing. Otherwise, these tools would lose their relevance. The second best practice I would suggest or can think of is connected communities and community engagement. Connectech, my company, conducted extensive primary market research to evaluate higher education market trends and identify the most critical emerging customer needs as expressed by top-level decision makers in the universities, like vice chancellors, registrars, and others. These leaders of universities view technology as a key enabler to connecting their communities and express the need for a seamless, efficient environment, tailored for each category of users, teachers, students, administrators, to enhance and improve access to information and process of information or learning. In essence, the need for a seamless environment that connects all stakeholders to each other and to the resources each person needs to succeed is important. The third best practice, change is one constant in education. As new technologies are developed and accepted by mainstream society, leading educators evaluate and assess each next big thing to judge the potential impact on students and the educational process. Universities look to these leaders to guide them through the maze that is technology and trust those that have the proven track record for success. Because we look up to the IITs to lead the other universities. They are the best practice, they are the benchmarks for the rest of the universities to follow. Universities that have a long history of associating with educational thought leaders and organizations that promote the very best in educational technologies. Best practice 4, crisis preparedness. Now, more than ever, students expect to be notified immediately, if not sooner, about exam results, serious issues and events that will potentially involve their education. As a result, universities across the country have enhanced their communication practices and are being praised for addressing urgent matters within seconds, given the mobile technologies, instant SMSs. When a crisis hits higher education institutions, institutions must communicate quickly and thoroughly with their community. Making phone calls through an organized phone tree or alerting the media is simply not fast enough or widespread enough when an institution is closing early unexpectedly due to a power breakdown or a hurricane. And now, a technology standpoint, though our university might be closed, our website is always on and always available. So that should be the nature. The university never closes. Best practice number 5, Web 2.0. No longer a new buzzword, but rather an accepted standard. Web 2.0 has forever changed how the public interact with websites. Nicknamed the read-write web, today's online experience is characterized by the ability of the website visitors to participate in the conversation. From commenting on the blogs to rating reviews to uploading videos and music, the collaborative tools that have become commonplace on virtually every website have empowered the average user to publish content like never before. Leveraging this ability has empowered teachers to engage their students on a whole new level. Today, teachers can quickly set up rich collaborative activities as part of their established curriculum through blogs, podcasts, interactive quizzes, online discussions. Students are no longer limited to classroom walls to display their creations, as the reality of the worldwide audience inspires them to achieve their best as it could be seen by the entire world. Following this, I would like to speak about some of the products we have, but I will end here given the time constraint. Thank you so much.